we can rewrite that algorithm by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Maha Mantra gives us a do-over. We can overwrite the myriad and huge tangle of algorithms that have been written into the chitta by Chaito Darpana Marjanam. The chitta becomes cleaned by the chanting process of Hare Krishna, because the holy name is the most powerful. And the Maha Mantra is a special algorithm, the algorithm of all algorithms. And just by concentrating the mind on that mantra, everything becomes corrected. And Jivera Swarupohoy Nityara Krishna Das, the correct alignment is made by the chanting process. So Krishna gives his mercy to those who simply express their will that Krishna, I want to surrender to you. Sakradeva Prapanonyas. Lord Ramachandra said this when Bibhishan came to surrender, that even if one time somebody says, I want to surrender, then he said, from then on, eternally, I will make sure to guide that person. He detects sincerity. So if you put the two together, the perfect process of connecting to Krishna's name as it's been passed down from the great acharyas by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we add our own sincerity in the chanting process, then we have the perfect process for self-realization that is universal, non-sectarian, that anyone who has an intention to reconnect to Krishna can have that direct access. So with great joy in our hearts, following in the footsteps of all the acharyas, all the liberated souls will now enter into the process of chanting japa and glorifying the holy names. First, I'll read one excerpt from Srila Prabhupada's writings. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is known as Gora Sundar. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto Nityananda Prabhu, who is always very joyful. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Advaita Acharya, who is very merciful, and also to that great personality, Gadadhara Pandit, the learned scholar. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Srivas Thakur and all the other devotees of the Lord. I fall down to offer them respect. I worship their lotus feet. Purport, this is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami teaches us first to offer respect to the Panchatattva, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Gadadhara Prabhu, and Srivas Prabhu, and other devotees. We must strictly follow the principle of offering our respects to the Panchatattva as summarized in the mantra, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, at the beginning of every function in preaching, especially before chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We must chant the Panchatattva's names and offer our respects to them. Thus wrote Srila Prabhupada in the Adi Lila 8.2 through 4. So let's begin by together saying the Panchatattva mantra. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. What a relief it is to just be able to fully concentrate on chanting Hare Krishna. All other things practically that we do in our life, getting ready to chant Hare Krishna, but when you actually can chant, then a great burden is lifted as we're perfectly aligned. Also, when all else fails, chant Hare Krishna. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna informs us so we can inform our intelligence or fortify our intelligence. Abrahma Bhuvana Loka, that from the topmost planet down to the lowest, everything in all ways will fail one way or another. Budva budva praliyate. So when all else fails, and it will, just chant Hare Krishna. So preemptively, just chant Hare Krishna is what the most intelligent, those who are on the progressive path, they understand that the material world is a lost cause. So the only cause that's worth devoting oneself to is Krishna. And the best way to do that is through chanting his holy names. Here's another excerpt from Srila Prabhupada's teachings on the chanting of Hare Krishna. And this one appears in a lecture. He says, there are offenses to be considered while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Therefore, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one does not become ecstatic. It is very beneficial to chant the names Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda before chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because by chanting these two holy names, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, one immediately becomes ecstatic. And if he then chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he becomes free of offenses. There are 10 offenses to avoid in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The first offense is the blaspheme great personalities who are engaged in distributing the holy name of the Lord. It is said in the Shastra, Chaitanya Charitamrita Anjya 7:11, Krishna Shakti Vinanahi Tar Pravartana. One cannot distribute the holy name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra unless he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not criticize or blaspheme a devotee who is thus engaged. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that there's an all-pervasive envy in the material world. Krishna says it in Gita, Icha dvesha sumutena dvandva mohina bharata, that everyone's born into this enviousness in the material world. Icha and dvesha sumutena dvandva mohina bharata, sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's exhibited through 10 symptoms in the conditioned soul. One is the tendency to criticize devotees. Second is to say that other demigods or great personalities are equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A third is to not fully regard the representative of the Lord, the spiritual master. To disobey the orders or to think, oh, just an ordinary person just like me. Fourth is to disregard the Vedic scriptures. The fifth symptom of envy, he says, is that one considers the glories of chanting Hare Krishna be imagination, and also to give some interpretations on the holy name of the Lord, trying to bring it down to a measurable level. And the seventh is to go on committing sinful activities and then thinking that the name somehow will rectify. The eighth is to consider chanting Hare Krishna to be a kind of karma kanda for improvement by getting good karma. So one gets a better position in the material world. The ninth, he says, is to initiate people into the chanting of Hare Krishna when they don't have faith. For getting more followers, and not that because you're trying to nurture somebody's faith in the holy name. And the 10th is to maintain material attachments. This is a sign of envy, he says, and finally he says that being inattentive while chanting is another symptom. So obviously the offenses against the holy name that we recite regularly. So as we're chanting the holy name, we can monitor and see how much is the disease of envy subsiding by how much we're adhering to following the avoidance of the 10 offenses. And simultaneously, the more we try to avoid the 10 offenses, the more we express our sincerity in trying to overcome the all-pervasive envy that's there in the material world and ends up contaminating the heart. And now let's just take a few reflections, because it's so important to hear from other devotees about their experience in chanting the holy name. It helps us to build our own faith and sense of dedication.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranams.
Aye.
I had a quick question, Prabhu, because you just read that Prabhupada says that simply by chanting but not avoiding these offenses, we cannot feel the ecstasy of chant the holy name. So these symptoms in our innovative chanting are diagnosed by the acharyas, but still we don't take any measures to avoid it completely. But sometimes when the doctor says some symptoms in our body, but we take it very seriously and we take all the help to avoid it. Why is it that we don't take these things with so much urgency and try to get rid of this disease in our consciousness?
I think you do take it very seriously. I'd seen over the years, you're fully dedicated to the process of glorifying devotees, avoiding offending devotees. I mean, I can go down the list. I don't want to embarrass anybody here, but you're one of the strictest adherents to this process that I've ever seen. So I guess you're asking hypothetically, why wouldn't one follow these? Why do we give more importance to what the doctor says? It's because if there was such a case, it's because I value my body. I'm still in the bodily conception of life, and I think this body is all important. And I equate myself with my body. So Shukadeva Goswami says in the 10th canto, 14th chapter, near the end of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that the most important topic to every living entity is his or her own self. Mm. And when I'm in the bodily consumption of life, I think, oh, my body's the most important thing. I'll sacrifice everything else for the sake of the body. But when one becomes self-realized, one understands, oh, it's the soul that's important. But then he says, Atmanam, Akilatmanam, then understand that who's the soul of your soul? If you're so invested in yourself, in your Atma, who's the Atma of your Atma, how much you would be absorbed there. So when we actually understand that we're part of Krishna and that serving Krishna and our relationship with Krishna is all important, then that shift is there, that we give everything the same way I'm giving my attention to my body. I transfer that to serving Krishna. And then any attention I'm giving to my body is just so that I can focus more attention on serving Krishna and not for the sake of just maintaining my body so that I look better or just so that I can live for sense gratification. Thank you for the important question.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I sat down to chant today, and I was thinking that it's so easy to avoid focusing if you don't turn your camera on. And I was thinking that I'm going to sit here today and just turn it on. It makes a huge difference for me because then I'm accountable. And then I picked up the timer you told us to get, and I put that, and I realized that the timer is amazing. I set it up for the whole hour that we started. And as I was chanting, more than anything, watching the time go away was so, I think it really made a difference to me to realize that this is all the time I have with you to do this. And if I don't take it seriously, then this is gone. It's never coming back. So I want to thank you for the timer. That really, really helped. Thank you very much.
Yes, and I like your point also about how if you don't turn your camera on, that's why it's one of the reasons why it's important for everyone to teach Krishna consciousness to others, is because just as all parents know, when you have a child, you have to actually follow. Otherwise, the child's going to go, yeah, but you don't do it. And so similarly, when we're teaching other people about Krishna consciousness, then we become a lot more aware that, yes, while I'm teaching this, I should follow it very carefully also. So it makes for a complete kind of sadhana when you teach and practice at the same time. And this is something Sanatana Goswami glorified about Haridas Thakur. He said, some people teach, but they don't practice. Some people practice, but they don't teach. He said, you teach and practice, and therefore you are the best devotee. And so that's why we emphasize always that these are two parts of sadhana. One is teaching others, distributing books, going out, giving classes, doing all these ways, take people in and show them, here's how you practice. And at the same time, leaning into our own practice. And the two, they complement one another as well. And this is what Prabhupada taught us. This was his mood, how he framed Krishna consciousness for us. Don't become just isolated. Prayena deva muniyaksva vimukti-kāma. Prahlad Maharaj even said that there's other people. Prayena deva muniyasva vimukti-kāma maunam charanti vijanena pararthanishta. Some people, they just go off into the Himalayas and they do it for themselves. He said, but they're not perfect. He said, the ones that go off into the big cities, he said, I want to live in the city. I'll practice there, and then I'll be near everybody else so I can teach them at the same time. Share. Let's hear some more sharing of realization. Anything you heard, or you're thinking about your impetus for the chanting of the holy names?
And what's Guru Maharaj?
Hare Krishna.
I really liked when you said in the opening that the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra rewrites the algorithm. And then you mentioned Cheto Darpanas. It was fantastic that if there's a bad algorithm, then it has very long lasting effects. So they have to be tweaked and set right immediately. And we do that even in our in our day-to-day lives.
Yes, people have been noticing how polarized people are. For instance, in America, there's this abject polarization in ideologies. And one of the reasons that some thinkers are putting forward is because of the way we're being controlled by algorithms. When we go online and we make any moves, then immediately it adjusts to trying to catch our attention to pull us in a certain way. And then it defines who we are according to our profile. You all know more about this than I do. And then the more we look at it, the more we become isolated in a particular point of view, because we're being controlled by algorithms that are responding to our initial investment of our attention in a certain place that can be measured. And it is being measured at every second. And therefore, whatever point of view, whatever rabbit hole we go down, that becomes augmented more and more. And that's how Māyā works also. Prakṛteḥ kriyamāṇāni guṇaiḥ karmāṇi sarvaśaḥ ahaṅkāra-vimūḍhātmā kartāham iti manyate. For many lifetimes, I've gone down the rabbit hole, and now I come out and I think, this is who I am. This is how I think. This is my opinion. But it's not your opinion. It's just the algorithms that you've been subjected to. So we're caught in that, and life after life, we're dragged from one life to the next. Shariram yaravapnoti yatshap yukramatishvara grihit vaitani samyati vayur gandam ivashayat. We're very subtle. We're being blown along into one next situation because we're locked into these algorithms. So to undo all algorithms, the vidyate hridayagrantish chidyante sarvasamshaya shiyante chasya karmāṇi So we have to come to see the self as master. We have to come to see Krishna as master, and that we're his servant, and we slash through all the algorithms and come to the only algorithm that actually matters, and that is, I'm a servant of Krishna. And so the Shastra gives us full permission. It says, break through. Get your algorithm right. You're really messed up, little jiva. Everyone's telling you wrong stuff. Don't believe it. Go to one source, one news channel, Bhagavad Gita. Listen to the Bhagavatam. Don't take in all this other stuff, because it just messes up your algorithms. And if you want to fix them, You got to sit down for a long time every day and really concentrate on these 16 words, 32 syllables. Let it rearrange everything. All the cheta, cheto darpana marjanam, fix it. And then you'll be happy. And then you'll have everything. You'll have victory.
Vaisesika Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So on the topic of news, can I add something if with your permission?
Uh-oh, is there late breaking news? Go ahead. Yes.
In Mahabharata, when Yaksha was questioning Maharaj Yudhishthir, and then one of the questions he's asked is, what is the news in this material world? And then Maharaj Yudhishthir says, Asmin maha moha mahe katahe suryagni ratri divendanena Māyā rutu darvi parighattanena bhutani kalo pachatiti vartaha. He says that in this material world, which is full of ignorance, this is like a cooking pan, and the day and night are the fuel for the fire, which is the sun. And the seasons are like the cooking ladle that is churning all the jivas. And then the time is the ultimate enjoyer of that particular dish that is being cooked. And that is the news of this material world.
Oh my goodness. That's beautiful. Also, following in that same vein, in the verse, Tate nukampam sumikshamanu bunjana evatma kritam vipakam, you'll notice for those who listen to this verse, vipakam sounds like kumbhipaka. There's in the 5th canto a description of a place where one gets the result of one's adverse sinful reactions by being cooked. So Mukunda Datta, the great pundit, said that this vipakam actually relates in this verse to the idea that I've cooked myself. I'm cooking myself. That's what it means. That Tate anukampam susamikshamanu bunjana evatma kritam vipakam. I put myself in the pot, I turned on the fire, and I'm stirring the ladle with me in it. And so it's like, what are you doing? I'm cooking myself here. So why don't you just get out of the pot, sir? Is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and said, let me give you a hand out of here. So we have to pull ourselves out and understand that whatever burning sensation I'm feeling, it's like there's a old saying, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Let's hear one more.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please
Hare
accept
Krishna.
my humble obeisances.
Jai.
Prabhu, I was reading Bhaktivinoda Thakur's one of his songs, translation to one of his songs, where he says that my heart is burning like a desert scorched with the rays of the sun, but the holy name is actually, which appears in the heart through the ears, is actually showering the cooling rays and cooling water rays. So I was just thinking that how I should focus on that sound, because it is coming through my ears and then it enters my heart. So when I was focusing on that, it was very helpful because I was focusing on the sound and I could feel some relief, not entirely, but I just thought of sharing that.
This is a very important point you're making. In the process of chanting Hare Krishna, we don't have to interpret the holy name as it comes in. In other words, I would say, this means this means that, I have to fix my mind somewhere else. Just listen to the sound of the holy name. Apana samsritim goranyanama vivashogranan tato sadyo vimucheta yadbipeti swayam vayam. As Bhagavatam says, there is no difference between Krishna and his name. So other words that come into our mental system, we hear the word house, and then there's a process, Kapila Deva explains in the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam, that the intelligence goes through to match up the word house with the category of houses. And then I get an image in my mind. This is a material process. But when the holy name comes into the mind, we don't have to categorize it. It's directly Krishna. There's no difference between Krishna and his name. So therefore, if one understands this, we only have to associate with the holy name by giving full attention to listening to the sound vibration. The Nam guna, rupa, and lila will all manifest as the chitta becomes purified, cheto darpana marjanam. Then at stages of asakti and before bhava, there is an opportunity for raganuga, a sadhana bhakti. That means before you've attained bhava, and bhava is the stage that's preliminary to prema, there is a way in which you can practice raganuga bhakti. Obviously, it's to get to bhava, so you have to be able to practice it ahead of time. But the way of meditating in a particular way, and the ashtaka lila, and other kinds of smaranam, they take place around after one's attained nishta, ruchi, and into asakti, and then in those points become available by the power of the holy name. By listening and chanting the holy name, then the chitta becomes purified, and sattvam vishuddham vasudeva shabditam yate tatra puman apavrita. There's a way in which the chitta becomes so cleansed that it's the form of the Lord can naturally appear there. It naturally does appear there from the cleansing of the various contaminations that are there in the chitta through the process of chanting the holy name. So, as you're pointing out from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the secret to success in everything in the process of devotional service is chanting the holy name. And he's the deliverer, he's the purifier, and he's the one who takes us by the hand back home, back to Godhead, chanting Hare Krishna. And he's the one who cleanses the chitta so that the Lord's form as Shyamasundar can appear there in the purified chitta. I didn't leave much time. Let's chant for a few more minutes together because we've been talking about chanting and now we all want to do it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Make Japa great again, Ki Jai. International Japa Circle, Ki Jai. We'll see you in about 20 minutes. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol, Nanta Govinda Prabhu. Good to see you. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol.